Hello and welcome back to another podcast. I am sitting closer to Jess today than usual because we have a special guest, Miss Jen from Franklin.
Hello.
And she's here today to talk to us about summer reading.
Yay!
Which we're really excited for. But first, announcements.
I love that we're swapping it today.
I know.
So
it's all new today.
I just have one quick small announcement. Is in May, we're starting at all of our branches. They're starting May 19th. We're having a program at each branch called Community Conversations. And what that is that you come to the library, you join your neighbors, you talk, and staff. A lot of the staff will be there, and you kind of talk about what the library means to you, what you want to see happen in the future. Basically, become part of our conversation. And we really, really want to have people join us at every branch. The dates for each branch is on the website. I was not going to list them all off for you because you probably wouldn't write them down anyways. But I really encourage you to come to your local branches, community conversations, or go to another branch's community conversations if you want. Go to all of them. I know I'll be at the Franklin one. I think Jen, you'll be at the Franklin one too.
I should be there too.
So yeah, definitely look into that, and please join us for that. So that is really the only announcement I have. So what are you reading, Sarah?
I just started a new book. I'm reading with my eyeballs Rites of the Starling by Deveny Perry, which is the second in the Shield of Sparrow series. She writes what she calls romantic fantasy, so not romantasy. And I'm not done with it yet. I'm really enjoying it, but it's a lot of world building, and people on the internet are like, what
So it's fantasy forward, not romance forward.
Like, I think the romance is still, like, pretty forward, but yeah, it's a fantasy first. And the internet has lost its mind.
They're like, world building, no.
How dare a romantasy world build?
I never really heard of this series until very recently. It just kept popping up on my friends who were reading the second one, and I was like, wait, what is this book? And then I saw they were, I looked into it, and it looks really interesting.
And it's like a year for romantasies. There's so many coming out. But that is what I'm reading with my eyeballs. With my ears, I'm reading The Cooking Gene by Michael W. Twitty. This has been on my TBR forever. And it came back up again when we did the cookbooks last month. Because he is a chef and a food historian. And so this book is about race and legacy and food in what he calls the Old South. And kind of tracing his food paths and his roots, and kind of melding that in with American history and how you can't have one without the other.
Interesting.
It's very interesting. I'm only about a chapter into it. I just started it this morning. But I'm excited to finally get to it. I think it came out at least 10 years ago, and it's finally like coming off my TBR.
That's how TBRs are, though.
I know.
You're like, I meant to read this book 5 years ago. And now I am.
I'm doing it.
It's
It's happening. Okay, there's three of us. This is weird. So who would like to go next to tell me what they're reading?
How about we'll save the best for last.
Okay, I think that makes sense. Love that.
So with my eyes, I'm like 20 pages close to being finished with Lena Dunham's new memoir, Famesick.
Oh, interesting. What do you think?
I love it.
Okay.
I love it so much, but I feel like when Girls, the TV show that she is most famous for, came out, was a very formative part of my adulthood, and not necessarily that I like super related to the TV, but like show, but as it was happening, it was very part of my life, and this memoir really talks a lot about that period in her life. So like you do get some like quality behind the scenes stuff. She is an incredible writer. Like, say what you want about Lena Dunham, she is an incredible writer. Yeah. So it's a really, really good well-written memoir. If you have any interest, she definitely addresses some of the controversies that have come up in her career, and I think she does so with grace. She talks about chronic illness in a way that I haven't read before, that I really appreciate. It's going to be unless she really jumps the shark in the last 20 pages. It is going to be a 5-star read for me. And then as soon as I finish that, I am going to read Dear Monica Lewinsky by Julia Langbein, which is just right up my alley as a book that's very weird premise, but like wild premise about a woman who is contacted by a former professor she had an affair with, and she starts spiraling about it, realizes it happened about the same time as Monica Lewinsky and Bill Clinton had their affair, And in like her frenzy of like guilt and remorse, she starts praying to Saint Monica Lewinsky.
We talked about this last month, didn't we?
Yeah, I don't know if we talked about it on air. We might have talked about we might have talked about beforehand.
There's no way I know about this except for Jess telling me.
I'm pretty sure we talked about it beforehand, and that's why I'm talking about it now. But it's really funny because the books I'm listening to, I also talked about last time. But what I'm listening to is I just finished Yesteryear. I know I read that book. I read the arc, and I've talked about it multiple times. But I was like, once a book hits, I'm like, you know what? Am I remembering wrong? Like, is this as good as I remember? I want to recommend it. If I don't want to recommend it, and the audiobook was great. It was just as good, if not maybe better than an eyeball read. Just because the main character is just so deeply unlikable. So having her inner monologue is part of the book, and so having her narrated is great. And I really like that. And then I'm just started reading a book I talked about on my excited for upcoming releases. I just started listening to Japanese Gothic by Kylie Lee Baker. Which immediately hooked me. Like I was a little like sometimes with like horror, like fantasy, like I have to hook or I'm out as a mood reader, and it got me pretty quickly. So I'm excited. It's creepy, weird. I don't know what's gonna happen. I feel like it's maybe given a little like We Used to Live Here vibes by Marcus Queller. Like there's gonna be some things I don't know what are happening, but then I'll figure it out. Zach, I saw Zach was reading it.
Yeah, Zach immediately put it on hold.
Yeah.
He was like, so that Japanese one, which I had completely forgot that you like when you like talk about something books like, what book? And I was like, oh yeah, no, I'm not reading that.
But so far it hit the ground running. So
awesome.
I'm into it. That is what I am listening to right now. So what are you reading?
Okay, so we're just coming off of a weekend. So I just finished a bunch of things. So I'm going to talk about the things that I just recently got done with. I listen to most of my books. It's my preferred way to read. I love listening to audiobooks. I have them going most of the time when I'm at home. I just finished listening to a recommendation from Linda Holmes, the podcaster and author. She recommended on her Blue Sky account Murder at 30,000 Feet by Susan Walter. And I am a children's librarian, but when I read adult books, I like to read about murder. And so this one caught my eye immediately. I was like, let's put that one on hold. And it is a locked room mystery that takes place on an airplane that is headed to Puerto Rico. There is a whole team of baseball players, high school baseball players from a small town headed there. Some other people from the small town also happen to be on the plane as well. There's also a big wedding party. And during a spot of turbulence, all of a sudden afterwards, they discover a body in the bathroom of the airplane. Ooh. So I enjoyed it quite a lot. It was wonderful. It's very fast paced. I think I figured out who the killer was about 2 minutes before it was revealed. So I was
that's
like,
pretty good.
I did it.
I feel like though, like sometimes with mysteries, especially if you are a reader of mysteries, if you're an avid mystery reader, you can often figure it out. And that's not like a deterrent to reading it, but you can. And so it's nice if you didn't figure it out right away.
It wasn't that impressive on my part figuring it out because they were like walking the way there. I was like, oh, I think I know who it is. But yes, it wasn't one of those, at least for me, where you knew immediately who the killer was. So I enjoyed that a lot. And then I just finished reading. I loved it very much. It's a YA graphic novel called Forgive Me Not by Mari Costa. And it's a fantasy graphic novel. It's about a princess who, in the middle of the night, she gets kidnapped and she realizes she's actually a changeling, a hobgoblin changeling. And she gets kidnapped by the princess whose place she took.
Oh.
And it is a love story between the two of them.
That's adorable.
It's a road trip, enemies to lovers, grumpy sunshine, all the things I love through the world of the fairies, because that's where she gets taken when she gets kidnapped.
I love that.
And I loved it very much. It was so adorable. This author wrote another book that I really loved called Life of Melody, which was another graphic novel. So that was just the cutest little thing. Fast read. I loved it very much. And I'm going to start listening to American Fantasy by Emma Straub. Yep. I've had it on my Libby account for a while, and I have just a couple days left. So I'm like, I need to get around to this one. So I'm kind of excited about that. That's one. Sometimes I put things on hold, not knowing a whole lot about them. I think I heard about this one on the podcast, and I think it's like, is it a cruise and a boy band?
That is correct.
Oh, okay, that one. Okay.
And I was like, that's enough for me. I'm going to put it on hold.
Yeah.
So that is what I plan to listen to next.
I love that.
Yeah.
Upcoming releases, anything you're really excited about upcoming or that you want to share with people?
Yeah, no, there was one in particular. I am excited about it because it's Christina Lauren, who I am a fan of. Romance writer.
Is that that's two people?
That's two people.
Correct?
Christina and Lauren.
Thank you.
But so their books for me are either like 7 out of 5 stars. I own it. I've reread it. Are they like,
Yeah.
And there's like no in between. And this one is like has such a weird concept. I'm trying to I'm gonna read it. I'll let you know. But it's called The Romance Revival.
Wait, is it a romance book for me if it's got a weird concept?
I don't think it's weird enough.
Okay.
For you, it's weird for them, I would say, for the writers.
Okay.
It's called The Romance Revival, and basically there's a woman is a scientist, so it's starting out like an Ellie Hazelwood, but it's not.
Mm-hmm.
She marries the love of her life, but then spends most of her time, at her job. And then one day her husband dies in a tragic car accident. But whatever she was doing as a scientist is able to bring him back to life.
Okay.
But with no memory. So it's like a second chance romance. And I don't the blurb doesn't tell me is he dead? Is
like it's a little Ashley Poston, if you will, kind of. I feel like that's her MO is a weird undead light fantasy,
yes.
Not real fantasy, but light.
So I don't know if this is going to be a fantasy element or just because of whatever science she's doing,
real science,
real science, and not I don't know. So that's why I'm I might love it or hate it, and I feel like there's going to be no in between. So that comes out in July. So I will let you know in October when I come back after having the child.
Okay, perfect. I love that. I've got...
That's it. I just got one.
Oh, yeah. I've got 2. The first one is Fabulous Bodies by Chuck Tingle. That's going to come out on July 7th. Those change occasionally, but let's say July. I love Chuck Tingle. I didn't love his last book, Lucky Day, so I'm kind of excited to hop into this next one.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, what got me is the first line of the blurb on Goodreads or wherever you read is fashion influencer by day, grave robber by night, and I was like, tell me more.
There you go.
So it is about Poppy is the main character's name, and she is basically called to pick up a very famous queer icon rock star. I think we're thinking Elton John, Freddie Mercury style, who has died, but after she picks him up, he comes back to life, and a bloody, crazy, surrealist, absurdist, classic Chuck Tingle horror plot ensues. So that's it sounds a little more like Bury Your Gaze, which I really loved. That was one of my favorites. So I'm pretty excited about reading that. I do have the advanced reader's copy. I'll let you guys know if I read it before it comes out. And if it is actually, I'm sure it'll be good. He's just such a delightful person to hear interviewed. And he just definitely, you can just tell he really puts his heart and soul in his books, even if they are bloody and gory and hilarious and weird. He's just a delight. And then the other one is called Girl's Girl, which is also very much up my alley. Mm-hmm. It is by Sonia Feldman, and it's basically about 3 best friends, and there's the summer of girlhood. I think 2 of them end up kissing, but not just kind of the unplanned, if you will. It changes the trajectory of their friendship. And it's all about that summer. And I think that the book is one of the adult friends looking back on that summer. Okay. It's giving virgin suicide vibes without the suicide.
I was is that how she's gonna finish that sentence?
I am. Yeah. But it is, very just what being at the intense friendships of being younger. So yeah, it looks really good to me, and one of my favorite reviewers really loved it. That always is a mark in the book for me. So those are 2 I'm kind of excited about. What about you, Jen?
So I have a kids one and an adult one. For the kids' book that I'm super excited about, Erin Entrada Kelly, who's won the Newbery twice and I think has another honor under her belt as well. She has a new book coming out May 12th. It's called The Second Life of Snap. And I'm a little nervous because, I can't do animal books and also anthropomorphic. Okay.
I know it's a hard one
to say.
Morphosized.
Yeah. I knew I was going to struggle as soon as I was like, should I even try? And I did.
Just watch you guys try.
And I should have not. But it's about a robot. And that is almost the same level as animal books for me in terms of like sadness. And but it's about a robot becomes a part of a girl's family in a dystopian future. And its battery slowly starts to die. And she has to figure out how to save this robot that has become so important to her family. I'm like, whew, can I do it? So we'll see.
I think it sounds exactly like a book that author would write, though. Like, that's a very much her, like, emotional, but, like, interesting. I've read a couple of her kids' books, too.
So it's going to be good and it's going to be popular, I'm sure, because that sounds awesome. And then one of my favorite adult authors, Gillian McAllister, who wrote Wrong Place, Wrong Time, which is one of my top adult thriller mystery novels, has a new one coming out May 5th, Caller Unknown. And she writes really twisty, turny, suspenseful novels where you just have to keep turning the page to what's happening next. And you think there can't possibly be another twist, and then there's another twist. So in this book, it is about a woman and her daughter who go on a road trip right before the daughter goes off to college, and the daughter gets kidnapped. And I'm sure it will go many places from there. I will read anything new that she puts out, so I'm very excited that that is just around the corner. And then my last thing that I just want to say, it's very dear to my heart. The Princess Diaries is coming out with a graphic novel version by Meg Cabot on June 30th. They're really hyping it up on her social media, and I'm excited to see what that's going to be like. Yeah. It was one of my favorite series. That was a huge part of the beginning of my librarian career was discovering YA books again, and The Princess Diaries was one of the series that I just dove right into. So it'll be interesting to see what the graphic novel treatment looks like for that, because on the cover, she looks very young, the main character on the cover, but she's a freshman in high school in the first book. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with that. I'm excited. I'm going to read it for sure.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was coming out until you told me so.
Yeah.
Before this, so let's dive into summer reading.
Let's do it.
First of all, let's talk about you just a little bit first.
Okay, yes, if we have to.
We do. So I feel like we've talked about it enough. Everyone knows Jen is a librarian at Franklin. She's chosen librarian at Franklin because I've brought her up in this podcast multiple times.
Yes, I think she's the most talked about librarian.
Every time I get a shout out, I'm listening at home and I'm like,
But do you want to just talk a little bit about how you became a librarian, where you started and where you ended up? Sure.
So I became a librarian. I went to the University of Iowa Library School. I started out in a big suburb of Chicago, but I wanted to move back to Iowa as soon as I could. I got a job at a small town library in Iowa after that, and I was there for about 4 years. And then I came to Des Moines, and I have been the children's librarian at Franklin for over 13 years now, which is wild to say out loud and think about. So that has been a long time, and it's been pretty fantastic. And I get to work with Jess, and I get to see Sarah, too, on occasion.
You're like at a Franklin institution.
Yeah. Well, because, so a lot of times we get moved around to one of our branches. You've never been moved then?
I have been at the same job the whole time, which I may be the only person in the system who can say that.
For 13 years.
For that long,
maybe,
yeah.
Yeah.
I got very lucky. I love it there. Franklin is a great branch to work at.
It is.
Yeah.
Sarah's like, I don't work there. So, before we super dive into, we're going to talk about the ins and outs of the children's summer reading program that's happening at the library this summer. A lot of parents are going to be listening, so we want, or at least we hope people are listening and watching. But I just want to talk a little bit about why I think summer reading is important. And I like that I'm not the children's librarian and I'm talking about this, but feel free to chime in at any point. But the main reason I think summer reading is so important is it really prevents researchers have long called the summer slide, which is the
Not
kids
as fun as it
not
sounds.
as fun as it sounds, where kids lose about a month's worth of like learning over the summer. And so if they are reading, in a program, whether their parents are telling them to do summer reading or they do it on their own, that kind of helps prevent that. I read a really interesting statistic, and it was from Scholastic, that teens who read for pleasure experience less anxiety and depression. So I love that summer reading might help a little bit with that. I mean, we all could probably use a little less anxiety.
A mental health boost.
A little mental health boost. And then libraries were open in the summer when schools aren't. So like kids who only have access to books in their school still have access to books at the public library. I think we can all agree that school libraries and public libraries are very mutually beneficial, and that school libraries are dwindling.
Yeah.
So it makes us a little more important. So, and in the case, not more, but that we exist for that purpose.
That we can fill that gap.
Yes. And then like the last point, and I think we all see this if you're ever working a desk in the children's area, is that when kids can choose what they want to read, they're going to read more. And that's like what summer reading ultimately, I feel like, is about. Like you can read or do any activity, as we'll get into, that what you want. And like I see, kids really like enjoying picking out books. Like you'll see parents be like, you have to read this. And I'm like, but then like when you like watch a kid like pick out their own books, it's a delightful part of working in the children's section, which I do at Franklin, even though I'm not a children's librarian.
Me too. That's part of
I feel like part of library life.
Duties as assigned.
Yeah, which I really enjoyed down there. I love a good long conversation with a kid talking about what they like to read. So I think those are a lot of the reasons. And I can attest to this because I know the meetings that Jen has been in because I do a lot of scheduling at Franklin. The team works so hard on this every year to get it put together, to like make it run smoothly, to get all the prize books, to do everything. So I think it's just like an amazing feat that really benefits everyone in the community, but especially kiddos and teens who are coming to the library.
Yeah, we do try to make sure that every kid who comes into the library is going to find something about the summer reading program that they can love and really get into. So, yeah, it is.
That's the point.
Yeah.
A huge part of what we do all year round, not just
Yes,
during the summer,
100%. Yeah.
We spend, like you said, a lot of time on this. So I am happy to talk about it.
Yay. So like how is summer reading working this year?
So it's similar to how it has been in the past if you've ever done it before. One of the best things about our program, and I'll talk about this more in a second, is that every child who signs up, and when I say every child, I mean babies who are a couple days old all the way up to kids who just graduated from high school. Everybody within that range can take part in the children's summer reading program. Everybody who signs up will get a free book to take home right away, which is amazing. We always try to get as many books, free books to take home into the hands of kids as we can, that they can keep and treasure. Because like you said, not a lot of kids have books in their home. So we are trying to make that, to change that by giving them free books at the beginning of the program. So anyway, we'll talk about all the fun, exciting books that we have in a second. But the way it works this year, we have this flashy, beautiful reading log designed by our graphic designer. We have 3 of these. And it's really nice because what we decided to do this year, there's 3 different categories. There's Read With Me, which is for children who haven't started their own reading journey yet. They're being read to by siblings and grown-ups in their house, but they haven't started reading themselves. So the way Read With Me works is it'll be a lot of reading together. And then we also have a Learning to Read sheet. So that's for kids who are just getting started on their reading journey. They're reading a lot of beginning reader books, maybe some beginning chapter books. And so the activities are geared towards that age. And then the third reading log is for readers. So these are kids who are confident in their reading skills, and they are just looking for fun books to read over the summer. And every sheet works the same. There will be activities listed on the front of the sheet. You can do any combination of the activities that you want. They'll either have to do with reading, book-related things, library program-related things, or literacy-based activities. When you do one of those, you just cross off a space on the game board. When you get it all finished, bring it back into any DMPL branch and get a small prize. And you also get entered into the grand prize drawing. And that's also a little different this year as well, because we have 3 different grand prize little sort of kits to choose from, and you can enter any one that you want. So we have a book lovers prize that comes with a little Rosie plush and a reading journal and some bookmarks and a gift card to a local bookstore, a local independent bookstore. Oh. Then there's a STEM activity prize. So there are several different building sets that are included, as well as some science books. And then there's a young chef's one as well.
I love
so
that.
It has some cooking supplies, like I think some utensil things, some aprons, a couple cookbooks, and a gift card to Hy-Vee so you can get started on your cooking journey. And kids can do as many of the reading logs as they want during the summer, so they can enter to win the same prize over and over again, or they can, enter to win all of them and see where they might get lucky. So.
Oh, that's so
love
cool.
that.
Yeah. That's like a little different. And I love that. I think also I really, really love that we have moved from age groups where being like you're 0 to 5, 5 to 10, 10 to teen. I love that it's reading levels, reading abilities. I think that's a really fun change, and also helps encourage, we talked about this a little bit before, Jen and I, but helps encourage babies. Like you are, if you're a parent of a 2-month-old, you can sign them up for summer reading, and you can keep bringing those logs back. So it encourages not just like, I think people think summer reading's for K through 6 a lot of times, and it's not. It's through 0. We do 0 through 18. So
exactly.
And I just think that's really cool. That's the main difference. Are there any other little differences besides the prize packs and the age, or the differences in logs?
One of the nice things that we're doing this year that is different is we're going to have 2 rounds of grand prize drawings. Usually we draw at the end of the summer, and each branch gives away, like we would give away 1 set of the prizes, for each branch. Well, every branch is going to do a drawing for all 3 prize packages at the end of June, beginning of July. We'll do 1 drawing. And then we'll do another drawing at the end of the summer. And we'll keep all the slips in there, so, you'll have chances to win, whether you entered before the first drawing or, But we wanted to give kind of something exciting in the middle, like give some prizes away during the course of the program. So that'll be new and exciting that we are doing that. But one of the things that I talked about is how kids get a free book when they sign up. And that's a huge part of the program. And the nice thing is, we don't just hand you a book. There will be a wide selection of books to choose from that each child will get to pick for themselves, which is fantastic. So with the Read With Me kids, we have a lot of fantastic board books and picture books. Doggy Dance Off is one that we have. It's a gorgeous hardcover book. The illustrations are the wonderful kind where there's things kind of hidden in the background, little jokes back there. And there's even a little twist at the end. I really enjoyed that book. Doggy Dance Off by Steve Smallman. Also, for the Learning to Read, we have so many beginning reader books as prizes from favorite series that kids really enjoy, like Pete the Cat, Who Would Win. We got some National Geographic.
Those Who Would Wins.
Oh, I know.
They're wild.
Yeah, we've got some I Spy. We also have beginning chapter books. Of course, we're going to have some Dog Man. And some Wimpy Kid.
Why would we not?
Can't escape those. No. Everybody loves them. It's great. And then finally, for the readers, we have a huge selection of graphic novels. We'll have Babysitter's Club, I Survived, We've got, let's see, what else do we have? Well, we have also chapter books as well. I just read The Spirit Glass by Roshani Chokshi.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the author of the Arusha series, which is so popular at our library.
And that's a Rick Riordan. This is also a Rick Riordan Presents book,
also
too,
a
right?
Rick Riordan Presents. It is a very funny and cute quest story about a girl who's going to turn 12 and she's just going to come into her magic. She has a little gecko who's her companion and a ghost, and they have to go on a quest to find something that was stolen from her. And she doesn't really have her magic yet. So she's going on a quest, but she's not really equipped with everything she needs. But it was funny. It was, all the Rick Riordan Presents books.
They're all so good.
Are wonderful. And we also, we have books for high schoolers as well. They might think, oh, this isn't for me. But we have The Champions by Kara Thomas, which is a murder mystery. One of the football players gets murdered at the high school. So I don't know if you enjoy a good murder mystery, but I do. I like that book. I thought it was good. We also have Snow Globe, which is a dystopian by So Young Park. It's the first in a series, and I think the second one is already out. So, we just have a wide range of books for any age group, and all the branches will have, wonderful things to choose from. And you get this right away at sign up.
Yeah, that's the best part.
Huge.
Like
watching kids be like, I get to take this now. Like, I don't have to do anything.
And explain that also the difference between your checking out books that are I don't bring this back. I feel like
yeah,
kids
exactly.
come to the library regularly are they're used to bringing their books back, and you just have to say you can keep this one. You don't have to bring it back.
Yes.
So exciting.
Yes.
It's the best.
When does this start? When is
Good
kickoff?
I'm so glad you asked that, because as I'm going through my brain, I'm like, I didn't actually say that. So thank you for bringing that up, Sarah. But yes, so Saturday, June 6th, we wanted to let, school get out and things like that before we got started. So the big day is Saturday, June 6th. And this year, it's a little different. Every branch is going to have a special kickoff. I wouldn't call it necessarily an event, but it's an occasion. So if you come to your branch library on that first day on Saturday, we'll have a limited supply, but we actually do have quite a few canvas bags that you can color, which I was going to bring into the room with me, but I did not. But we have,
It'll be a surprise.
It's the beautiful summer reading logo designed by our graphic designer, and we will have markers available at every branch, the fabric markers, so you can color it there on the day, write your name on it, so this is my library bag. So every child who comes in to sign up for summer reading on that day will get one of those bags, as long as we have the supplies there. So get there early if you really want one.
Especially if you go to Franklin.
Yeah, exactly.
True.
No lies.
We'll have bookmarks to color and decorate as well. So it'll just be a festive occasion at the library to be there on day one to sign up. But obviously, everyone's busy. If you can't make it on day one, you can sign up all the way until the very last day on August 1st. So we will be giving away free books all summer
long
for people. So if you can't make it that first day, it's fine. Come in anytime during the summer before August and get your free book.
It's like when you're on the youth desk and you don't see a regular in July, you're like, have you signed up for summer reading?
Exactly.
The regulars, the people who come in every day are like, okay, they know what's going on. They know it. Or every day, every week. We do have, but every week they know what's going on.
But, we've done it.
Yeah, but you see a new person, you're like, have you signed up for summer reading?
Exactly. And
you'd be surprised, I think, how many people do sign up halfway.
Yeah.
And it's great. It doesn't matter. It's not the amount. I mean, you don't get as many entries into the grand prize, but you still get the free book. You still get to do the fun activities. You don't have to do it at the beginning this summer if you don't want.
And the way the program is designed, if you are really dedicated, you can finish a sheet relatively quickly. So, yes, as we know. So even if you sign up in late July, you could get several entries into that drawing box for sure.
That's so cool. Yeah, summer reading's always such a fun time at the library. I mean, Franklin, we both work there, and I just think it's just such a fun time when everyone's excited, and it's very, very busy.
Yeah, it's a different atmosphere in the building when summer reading is going on.
It's true, and I love that each branch is instead of having a big kickoff party, which what's what we've done in the past.
Yes,
I like the idea of just a little chiller, but still exciting.
Yeah.
At every branch. Like, everyone's going to have some decorations up. Everyone's going to have the bags. And I still see people with those bags from how many years ago?
Yeah.
I don't remember how many years ago. Like 5, 4, 6.
Ooh, I want to say we haven't done bags in like
It's been a while.
7,
Yeah.
8 years, maybe. Is that a little too much? But I feel like it's been a minute.
Yeah.
I
It was,
remember which of my because we got them too. Like,
Yeah.
like, when was it sitting on my desk? I don't. Yeah, but it's been a long time.
but I see people with
Yeah.
those bags still all the time. So, you know,
Yeah.
it's a fun thing. Did we miss anything?
I think, June 6th, but anytime after that. And I talked about a lot of stuff today, but obviously they will explain everything when you go into the branch. Every sheet has instructions on it, and we can always answer any questions that you have.
Definitely.
Yeah. Exciting.
Yay.
I love that.
I mean, I was gonna say less exciting, but as exciting. The adults are also doing something.
Of course.
Yay.
We do that.
We do too. But if you've done it in the past, it works similar to past years. Read a half an hour every day, or for every day that you read a half an hour, you can mark it off. It's kind of a similar log. They aren't printed yet, so I can't show you one. And they're also doing prizes halfway through and at the end. Halfway through, and for these, you just get the prize while supplies last.
Yep.
So at 15 days, you get a voucher for our book sale, so those will last. And then at 30 days is a mug, is a free coffee mug.
And it is, the theme is Camp Read Some More again
Yes.
this year, which I loved that. I love that theme last year.
Yeah.
I feel like people really responded to that.
Yes,
and it
people
was a
love a
cute
theme.
logo, and it was really fun to set up that display with like the little campfire vibe. So, yeah.
Yes. So you can do it with your kids, or if you don't have kids, doesn't matter. You can still do summer reading as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's in conjunction with the reading challenge. Like,
Yes, it's still going on.
always encouraged. So, yeah.
That's everything.
Is that everything? I think that's everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exciting. Book bulletin time.
Yes.
It's time for the book bulletin.
Do you want to start us off with like the I mean, I feel like we don't have anything major.
No, which is kind of nice. We're not going to be really depressing.
No super vibe killers other than classic Amazon vibe killer.
And honestly, I mean, it's not unknown to our listeners that we are not big fans of Amazon.
No.
But I will say Amazon is getting a lot of flack for stuff that most tech companies do.
Agree.
Basically, Amazon is pulling support for any Kindle that is older than 2012.
Which is 14.
Which is kudos to anyone who has kept their e-reader alive for 14 years.
Without dropping it and breaking the screen.
Yes.
I mean, I'm impressed.
Yeah, I'm impressed.
I would guess the refurbished market is what's really going to take that hit, because I bet people, I don't know for a fact, but I would assume people bought refurbished older ones.
True.
And then that's where they're...
And there's some unanswered questions, which I think is getting more people than anything, is as far as the books that are already on there, will they continue to work? Will we still be able to connect with Libby even though
we can't buy books from or get updates
anymore? And at least the Wired article I read, there weren't answers to that yet. So people are very upset, which I would be upset too if I found out I needed to go out then and buy a $200 piece of equipment. So I get it, but also I think this is pretty on par with what most. Eventually, they stop supporting.
Planned obsolescence.
I bet a lot of older Kindles are being used by kids, because I bet when parents upgrade, the kid gets past the older Kindle. So that might be a large population that's affected by that, unfortunately.
I like that even because you're not gonna, I mean, you can, and plenty of people do. Sorry, I'm not, you're not gonna, but they're expensive. So I understand giving your child the older model, but that's a bummer.
Yeah, and with Libby specifically too, Amazon, so if you're using a Kindle, you have to go through Amazon essentially to...
You do.
Yeah.
I mean, rent it to check it out.
Yes, and to return it.
And to
if you return
it.
early.
Yes, you can't do that through the app. Or you start through the app and you end. I have a Kobo because I like being different and alternative.
Kobos are great. I have a Kindle.
Yeah, and Kobos have their own issues, so it's not like a Kobo versus Kindle. There's some things on my Kobo, like
They
Kobo
do it, yeah.
Kobo doesn't sideload very well.
Correct.
I'm horrible, and I just read on my tiny phone most of the time.
Good for you.
That's so funny.
And I make the
And also we
text
were just-
enormous, so there's like a sentence per page. I'm like, man, this kid's book is 2,500 pages. That is my normal reading if I'm reading.
And we were just talking before the podcast. You have a tiny phone.
Yes.
So it's not like
I have a very tiny phone. It's in my pocket right now.
Oh, yeah, you
It
gotta.
is.
You gotta.
Yeah,
It is.
It's very small.
It's a little baby phone.
But no, I had a Kobo, and it
Yeah.
just it broke, and I just was never I feel bad because like I wanted to cut the ties with Amazon, but the Kindle it was better for advanced readers copies.
Yes, that's the big.
As you know, I read
Yes.
quite a bit of so.
And so yeah, if you're not reading arcs
Yeah.
and adventure reader hobbies,
Kobo's great.
Kobo's great. But no, because I'm running into the same thing. I'm not reading nearly as many advanced readers copies because I can't. Though NetGalley sometimes, I think it's depending.
It's like
dependent
50% of the
yeah,
time.
I think it's dependent on the publisher.
It is.
If there is a Kobo.
But either way,
Sorry, we went off topic.
but Amazon is
per usual.
that's the end of the game there. The evil has won. As
So
I like to say.
if you're holding on to a pre-2012 Kindle, I'm sorry.
Sorry about that for you.
I'm sorry to announce this
Sorry
for you.
about that for you.
There's going to be a new book in the Divergent series.
Wow, that's a throwback.
I know. Why? Have either of you read the
Oh, yeah.
Divergent? I mean, you're a children's librarian.
I read
No?
the first one, and
Okay.
I
No judgment.
I hated it a lot. I hated it a lot.
I read it when it came out back in the day, when that was all popular. If you ask me what the plot is, truly couldn't tell you. I think there was a train involved. That's all I remember.
I didn't read it. I feel like it was like the end of my like dystopian. It falls right at like the end of all of that teen stuff for me, and so I was like, I'm good. I don't need another one. But what I do love, why I even knew it was happening is because there were fans out there, and even not fans in the book world, that were like, it's just a cash grab. And Veronica Roth basically was like, I don't need your money. I'm doing this because I want to do it. I mean, she said it much more eloquently than that, but she's like, I'm fine, guys.
I may have been one of those people saying that, so I find that interesting.
Yeah,
She needs some money.
yeah. No, she came up with like a 4-part thread that was like, I've sold 40 million copies of my books.
Yeah,
They've been
like,
turned into
if you do think
films.
about it, like Divergent, and
Because it was, were there three? Oh, the other one, it was supposed to be turned into 4 movies. That's what it was, and that sort of fell apart. Yeah. But I'm sure she still made her money for the
yeah,
movies getting.
she got paid.
I think
Good for
it'll
her.
be interesting to see it just in general. Like, we saw it with
Susan Collins.
Hunger Games, yeah. Those like just if they will rise in general. I think dystopic YA, particularly fiction, is like dropped a little bit in popularity. We moved into more realistic and romantic fiction for teens as far as like what they like to read, and romantasy. For teens too, but I think it'll be interesting to see if like there's any uptick in, or is it just going to be adults who read it, or will it like bring people back to Divergent? It's an interesting thing to see, especially in our current
I was just going to
timeline.
say, like, I don't feel like reading a lot of dystopia right now, just personally.
Yeah.
Because we're living it.
It's not what I want to escape into.
Yes. Murder, yes.
Yes.
Dystopian, no.
Send everybody to an island. They start getting murdered. That is my favorite kind of book.
But it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yes.
Because the Suzanne Collins books, I mean, they've been great. They were well written. I haven't read either of them. I just know there's two, right?
2 newer
and their movies are being made. So like that's continuing on. So and what I've seen of them looks really good. There's one that's done and one that's being made. Is that
It's
correct?
coming out this summer, end of this year, maybe?
So this year, I've seen a trailer for it, but I don't remember
Yeah.
what the date was for it. So
anyways.
So yeah, we're kind of seeing just a bit of resurgence, but I'm just wondering if like all millennials are becoming adults.
Yeah.
Is what is actually happening? Becoming.
We're all still becoming adults.
I mean, yeah.
I'm still.
yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Okay, so next line item on the book bulletin is the casting for the movie Beach Read was announced, and no one likes it. Everyone's like, no, thank you.
So it's my favorite Emily Henry, and I had like no reaction to it, and so like when people were like so upset, I was like, oh, I don't know enough about like Patrick Schwarzenegger, I think is what.
I think that's what Patrick Schwarzenegger, who really, I feel like you've only seen in White Lotus. At least I've only really seen in White Lotus. I feel like there's probably other stuff, but that's like his biggest, latest thing. Yeah, that just does not fit for the character at all to me. And like you said, we were talking earlier, there's a lot of fan casting that is so much better. It's such an interesting world we live in that everyone can just get on the internet.
Yes,
yeah.
And just be like so angry about kind of the weirdest things. But I get it because that is not who I would picture playing that lead at all. Like kind of like a tall jock, you know, like that's not who I saw.
Because I've seen him in nothing because I'm not watching The White Lotus. You guys know what I watch.
It's good. He's good at it.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Is he like lankier? In my head, Gus is lanky.
He is tall and yes. Yeah, I wouldn't say
not lanky. Like I'm gonna have to like look up this like a full picture, full body picture of the man because I've just seen like the headshot. Take it in. And I was kind of like, okay, put some glasses on him, I'm fine. And I also have very low expectations.
Is this like a Netflix movie or
this is a theatrical release?
Okay.
I looked into that too.
Okay.
Because I was curious because people we meet on vacation, I feel like it didn't land for a lot of people, and it wasn't very popular.
No.
I never even watched it.
It came and went very quickly.
It was my least. It's my least favorite Emily Henry, so I was like, I don't care really.
It should have been. I think now I can't remember if we talked about this on the podcast or not. It should have been a mini series because, like, if you know the plot of people meeting on vacation, they go on vacation multiple times, and I think if they done like 8 episodes of like a different vacation, it still is my least favorite book. So I don't think I would be like, I would walk away being like, there it is.
It'll be interesting to see if the theatrical release part of it does, it helps the movie. I feel like we're in a time where everything is just released on streaming, and while that is convenient sometimes,
I went and saw
films are like still important. Like going to the movies.
I went and saw Project Hail Mary this weekend because it was a theatrical release.
Yeah, I still haven't seen it. I will go watch it at some point. Probably not.
I have seen it multiple times. It's one of my favorite books.
Oh, yeah.
So I knew immediately. I've been looking forward to this since the first trailer came out like last summer. I was like, boom, I am there.
She was like, art in your seat.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I like when a book, I think book adaptations either need to be series or theatrical releases. I'm going to stand by that because I started watching Margot's Got Money Troubles on Apple. Incredible. It's so good. It holds up to the book. And if that was a movie, it would never work. Like, you have to, a book is long. I mean, I know that sounds really dumb, but,
a book has many pages.
Sometimes a lot of things happen.
Yeah.
And it lends itself to either to, a full, big movie or a series. I don't know about, It's like made for TV movies. What I think of when I thought of a streaming
there
movie.
Is that as well, though, especially with romance, right? Because there is such a deluge of Hallmark and that sort of and this idea of also a rom-com movie and a rom-com book are not inherently the same thing either. Anyway, I could go deep dive with the ghost of Nora Ephron and we could get into it, but I won't. I promise.
Yeah.
Not today, anyway.
Not today. That's for another podcast.
Anyway.
Last but not least, I think. Is this our last
this is our last
line
one.
item?
So there is a new Empyrean book, which is the Rebecca Yarros series. Fourth Wing series. But it is not book 4. If you go on Amazon and look right now, it literally even says that in parentheses. Everywhere on Goodreads, on Amazon, not book 4. So that drops in September. Nobody knows anything about it.
Okay.
except that it's not book 4 and it's not a graphic novel. Like, it's not a graphic novelization of.
So, like, I'm thinking novella.
That's what I'm thinking too.
Like, maybe a side. Oh, no, whatever. I'm
Or like
thinking
a
novella.
prequel, you know, maybe about, you know, like a mom or something. I don't know. But I think it's hilarious because it's already making, like, bestsellers lists.
Well, which I think we talked about this last
Yes.
time, and while the library has announced it on their social medias, you can now place holds on the new ACOTAR books.
Yes.
I don't remember I don't think they were in the catalog
were
last
not.
time we recorded, but they are now. So
That's our lovely coworker Carrie was like, "When are you recording?"
Yeah.
I have them in the catalog, and I was like, "Oops, last week I forgot to tell you."
So, just FYI, as another sidebar of a very popular, like, showing up on bestseller lists without a title or anything about them.
But like these series are so popular that they're already making bestseller lists.
Yeah.
So this one is not in the catalog, so don't go looking for it. But the ACOTAR ones
The ACOTAR ones are. So.
I'd be interested. I should have looked out what the numbers are for that already.
I think they weren't as high as I thought as soon as it was announced. I bet they've slowly inched up as people
And I still
have.
think we're going to have loads.
We'll get loads of copies.
We'll get loads of copies, but until we get like covers and titles, people we're not going to put
Be
stuff on hold.
excited. Yeah.
So.
And do you feel like some people just buy those books of those
Yes.
series? Like,
Yep.
those readers are very dedicated.
They are
and-
dedicated.
Yeah.
Shout out to Indie Bookstore Day that happened now a month ago when you
guys will really hear
when
us.
you hear this podcast. But if you are not checking out books at the library, I really hope you're checking out all the really amazing indie bookstores that are in Des Moines. Dear Monica Lewinsky was a recommendation from Luis at Nos. So
nice.
I love going into indie bookstores and getting cool recommendations as well. So anyways, sorry to sidebar, but I can't help it.
You can always plug it
We
into
were
the-
talking some mad crap about Amazon, so
Yeah. Anything else?
I-
Any last words?
no.
Thanks for having me on.
Anthropomorphic.
Sorry, anyway.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for
We
having
love
me on
guests.
and
So it's been a
inviting me.
while.
Yes,
so
yes, that's so great.
It feels so special.
see you guys next month.
Bye.
Bye.